The air tastes of dust. It is the first sensation upon waking and the last before the fitful slip into sleep, for this clan of Australopithecus, huddled in a thorny acacia thicket. It is the only constant. The sun, a merciless white eye in a bleached sky, has baked the awash valley into a mosaic of cracked mud and withered grass. The river, their lifeblood, is a ghost of its former self. A shallow, tepid artery where crocodiles lie like logs, too lethargic to hunt. This is the unforgiving calculus of life a million years ago. Survival is a currency earned one sunrise at a time. Then they are nearly bankrupt. Our UK, the dominant male, feels the heat not on his skin, but deep in the bone of his left leg. My gosh, earned from a desperate scuffle over a carcass days ago, now weeps a thick fluid. The flies are a black, shifting shroud upon it. The profound sexual dimorphism of his species. The sheer muscular bulk that once guaranteed his clan's security is now a cruel irony, a heavy, useless anchor. He cannot beat a hunt, he can barely stand. His grunts of frustration are a loath under that promises a storm that will never break. The clan feels his weakness like a drop in air pressure. It is a shared, unspoken dread that sours the meager roots they chew. The larger threats of this era of prehistoric life are not always the ones with teeth. Sometimes, they are simply the absence of rain. But there are teeth. At the edge of their thorny sanctuary, the Hominids watch. They are not the spotted scavengers of a later age, but larger, bone-crushing shadows. The Dinofellas. And they are patient. Their whooping calls at dusk are not a declaration of attack, but a tightening of the siege. It is a sound that unspools the very spine, a primal promise of disassemblage. They own the valley now. The clan is trapped on a shrinking island of thorns, the scent of their own fear mingling with the carrion stench the predators leave on the wing. 2 days ago, a young female, panicked by thirst, made a break for the river. They did not hear her screams for long. No. The clan huddles tighter, the small, dark eyes of the young ones fixed on their mothers, their whimpers swallowed by the vast, indifferent silence. These are our human ancestors, caught in a vice between starvation and predation. Their world reduced to a few square meters of sharp branches and suffocating fear. While the clan waits for the end, Gale watches for a beginning. He is young, his frame slighter than the other males, his place in the hierarchy indistinct. On the ground, among the grunts of pain from our UK and the low moans of hunger, he is a peripheral shadow, but up here, perched precariously in the highest, thinnest branches of the acacia, the world unfolds differently. He is a ghost in the thorns, his perspective elevated above the immediate, suffocating panic. From this vantage, the Pliocene sun is not just an oppressor, it is an illuminator, revealing the patterns of the enemy below. This patchwork of scrub and savanna, the mosaic environment of the late prehistory, offers both trap and opportunity, and Caeda's mind, unburdened by the responsibility of leadership, is free to see both. For 3 days, he has barely moved. His thirst a dull ache he has learned to ignore. He charts the Hominid's movements, the way the lead female marks the perimeter with urine, the lazy swagger of the males, the squabbles that erupt over scraps. He learns their rhythms. They are bold, but not foolish. They fear the midday sun, retreating to the shade of a rock outcropping. They are wary of the riverbank where the crocodiles lurk, but these are common-sense cautions. Despair is a poor strategist, and the adults below see only a wall of teeth. Tail, in his patient isolation, is looking for a crack in that wall. The story of hominid history is not written by the strongest, but by those who first learn it to see the world as a problem to be solved. The discovery comes not as a flash of insight, but as a stroke of random violence from the sky. A gust of wind, a sudden, angry exhalation from the baked earth, tears through the grove. A large, dead branch on a neighboring tree, dried to tinder by the drought, gives way with a sound that is not a snap, but a loud, percussive crack, the sound of a giant bone breaking. On the ground, The Hominid flinch as one. They do not scatter, but their arrogance evaporates. They crouch low, muzzles twisting, scanning the horizon. A low growl of genuine uncertainty rumbles through the pack. Kayla's heart hammers against his ribs. It is not the noise itself, but the quality of the noise. It mimics the footfall of Charlie Coe there, or a charging D another IUM. The true titans of this land, creatures of immense weight and mindless fury that even these predators would not challenge. The Hominids hold their ground, but for a full minute. Their siege is forgotten, replaced by a deeper, more ancestral fear, and in that moment, Kale sees it. A weapon that is not a stone, but a sound, an idea, fragile and terrifying, takes root in the arid landscape of his mind. These early humans had no fire, no spears, but they were beginning to grasp the power of the bluff. He scrambles down the trunk, the rough bark scraping his palms, his eyes burning not with fear, but with a frightening new purpose. He returns to the suffocating confines of the thicket not as a subordinate, but as a messenger of a dangerous new gospel. Communication is a clumsy, desperate dance of gesture and sound. He points to the high branches, then to the Hominids. He picks up a stone and a dry piece of wood, striking them together. The sound is pathetic, a mere click. The others stare, their eyes dull with hunger. It is UK, the crippled leader, who dismisses him with a guttural snarl. The idea is foolish, a child's game. The old way is to wait, to endure, or to fight with brute force, a force they no longer possess. But the females, their own young gnawing at their empty breasts, see something else in Kayla's frantic pantomime. They see a spark of a plan where before there was only a void of despair. One of the older females, her face a mask of gaunt determination, rises and follows him. Another joins. It is a mutiny born not of ambition, but of necessity. The plan relies on the refuse of old kills. The osteoed ontocratic boneyard scattered at the edge of the grove. This is the grim foundation of early archaeology. The story told by discarded things. Kale and his small band of conspirators gather the largest, driest femurs and shoulder blades they can find. These are their instruments. This is their primitive technology. Their target lies 200 meters away across the exposed plain. The bloated carcass of a hippopotamus, mired in the mud days ago, now claimed unjealously guarded by the Hominid pack. The risk is absolute. To leave the thorns is to offer themselves to the enemy. Kayla's gambit is not just about courage. It is a profound act of trust in an idea, a cognitive leap that defines the trajectory of human evolution. They do not go toward the carcass. They move parallel to it, keeping the thorny grove at their backs. Kale gives the signal, a sharp cry, on cue. They begin smashing the bones against the rocky ground. The sound is not a click, but a deep, resonant crack-thump, echoing across the baked earth. It is the sound of something immense, something heavy, walking nearby. The effect on the Hominids is immediate. The alpha female's head snaps up, her feast forgotten. The pack bunches together, their confidence wagger gone, replaced by the low, anxious posture of animals who know they are no longer the most dangerous thing on the landscape. Kale and the others smash the bones again, harder this time. A chaotic, terrifying percussion. The predators take the bait. They begin to move towards the sound, cautiously at first, then with a rising, aggressive curiosity, leaving the hippo carcass momentarily unguarded. This is the moment, while the diversion holds. The other females, a wave of desperate, silent shadows, sprint from the thicket. It is not a battle. It is frantic scavenging. They fall upon the carcass, tearing at the tough hide with their teeth in bare hands, ripping away strips of sun-warmed meat. Their only thought to get something, anything, back to the safety of the thorns. Kale watches, his heart a drum against his ribs. His fate and the fate of these ancient humans balanced on the edge of a sound. They eat. The meat is tough. The taste verging on decay, but it is sustenance. It is life. In the quiet that follows, As sinews worked between teeth and the young finally fall into a deep, food-heavy sleep. The clan is not the same. RUK looks at Kale, and in his gaze is the slow, dawning realization that the landscape of power has shifted. Strength of arm will always matter, but today, strength of mind saved them. This small act of coordinated deception, born in the quiet mind of an outcast, is more than a clever trick. It is a seed. It is the genesis of strategy, of planning, of exploiting a weakness rather than confronting a strength. This is the foundational narrative of our species, the central theme of any evolution documentary. Survival not by cure, but by creed. The creed of community, of shared risk, and of the profound power of an idea. The bones they used as tools will eventually be unearthed by the shovels of paleontology, but the thought process behind their use is the true artifact. An inheritance of ingenuity passed down through the millennia. It is the quiet echo of this moment that built the first walls, launched the first ships, and charted the stars. Their victory was not in chasing the predators away, but in understanding them. And it poses a question that reverberates into our own time. Have we forgotten that our greatest strength has never been in the weapons we hold, but in the minds that comprehend the fears of others? This is the Chronicler. We bear witness to the moments when the future pivoted on a single, desperate choice. What happens when the mind that saves you becomes the thing you fear most?